regular meeting of the Kaneohe Neighborhood Board in our new location. Before calling to this meeting to order, I'd like to thank Windward Community College. Actually, this meeting is called to order. I'd like to thank Windward Community College for providing us a new venue. And in light that we are having a new venue, can I just ask for a very quick blessing?
Thank you, Chair. If you can join me in the words that are familiar to many of us. Eko mako makua, iloko kalani, e hoano ioko inoa, e hiki mai ko puni, e malama ia ko make honua nei, e like me ia, I malama ia makalani la. E havi mai ia mako I keila, I aina moko no neila. E kalamai hoi mako I ka mako labihala ana, me mako e kalane I ka poi I labihala I ka mako. Mai ho'oku oi ia mako I ka hole bai ia mai. E ho'opakele no nai ia mako I ka ino. No ka mea, no ke puni, a me ka mana, a me ka ho'onani ia a mau loa aku. Amene, amene.
Mahalo, and how appropriate it is to be in the Hawaiian Studies section of Windward Community College. So moving on with the next order of business is filing of vacancies on the board. We have an opening in Subdistrict 2, which is the Windward Mall area. Is there anyone online or here at the board meeting that's interested in serving on the board from that area? Anybody online? Hearing none. Moving on to city and state monthly reports. Honolulu Fire Department is here in force. Mahalo.
Good evening, Firefighter Kubo from Kaneohe Fire Station, here to read the statistics for last month of February. Fires, we responded to 2 structure fires, 1 wildland brush fire, 1 nuisance fire, and there were 2 activated alarms with no fire. Medical emergencies, we responded to 147. There were 5 motor vehicle crashes or collisions and 1 mountain rescue. The fire safety tip for the month of March is smoke alarms. Smoke alarms are critical for saving lives and play a key role in a home fire escape plan. When installed properly and maintained correctly, they provide early alerts, giving occupants the chance to evacuate quickly. Install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area, the hallway, and on each level of the home. Test smoke alarms at least once a month by pushing the test button, and replace smoke alarms when they are 10 years old or stop responding when tested.
Any questions for the Honolulu Fire Department?
Question, Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Sakamoto.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report, Fire Department. Just correction, besides smoke alarms, do they have other alarms for chemicals like, that might be eliminated so we can know what's going on?
They do also have carbon monoxide alarm.
So that's usually sold at the hardware store or whatever you think. Okay, thank you.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Next is Honolulu Police Department.
Hey, good evening, board members and members of the community. My name is Lieutenant Kagi. I'd like to go over the stats for the month of February. We had 2 motor vehicle thefts this month compared to 3 the previous month. We had 10 burglaries this month compared to 3 the previous month. We had 19 thefts compared to 12 the previous month. 4 vehicle break-ins this month compared to 3 the previous month. And no robbery cases this month compared to no robbery cases the month prior. Update on the status for the H3 sport motorcycles and car racing. That's a continuous ongoing project that we have going up there. I think since the beginning of the year, we've 500 plus citation. That we will continue to do. I'd like to bring up topic is currently with the new laws that first of all, you be at least 15 years of age to elect. You must
Hey,
register to a household
Lieutenant?
member that is at least 8. Yes.
Lieutenant? Yeah, you're kind of breaking up. We didn't hear much of what the H3 report was. So if you wouldn't mind, I think if you would turn off your video and then try it one more time and see if that doesn't help with any issues of latency.
How's that sound?
Keep talking and we'll see.
All right. So H3, it's an ongoing project. Since the beginning of the year, we have given over 500 plus citations up there, varying from racing to excessive speeding to regular speeding to loud muffled noise to driving without license, no insurance, etc. So that's an ongoing project that our command has is letting us is making us go forward with it. And so as of right now, we'll continue enforcing up there. So there's pretty much officers almost every night up there on the freeway, shooting lasers and monitoring that freeway. Secondly is electric bicycles. Wanted to let you folks know, the community know about the new law that's come into effect. Regarding electric bicycles, you must be at least 15 years of age to operate an electric bicycle. The bicycle must be registered to a household member that is at least 18 years of age. Helmets with a chin strap are required for riders under 18. An electric bicycle, and this is the key one, is must not exceed 750 watts. And the maximum speed cannot exceed 20 miles per hour. They also must have fully operable pedals. Wheels must face forward and remain in contact with the ground at all times. And the operator must remain seated in a standard riding position with one leg on each side of the seat. So just wanted to give an update on the new electric bicycles law that has gone into effect. Now, if a lot of questions we receive is if the electric bicycles are above 750 watts. Those are classified out of class vehicles, which is basically a motorized dirt bike. So in order for those to be operated on the road, you would need turn signals, you would need a tail light, you would need a motorcycle license, you would need insurance, registration, safety check, and so forth. Other than that, I'll answer any questions from the board or members of the community.
Sure.
Questions for HPD?
Chair.
Sakamoto, then. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Officer, for giving a update about the H3. My concern is on weekends. I live close to the H3, 45 yards away by the Kamehameha Highway exit 11. So they come on weekends. Usually in the evening, the motorcycles go back and forth west to eastbound, and then they go back. And then you have some hot rod vehicles. But there's a lookout by the scenic lookout by the Marine base that has a lot of issues. Last time there was a gate and state DOT says HPD needs to lock it up and open it up in the morning. Then at last month's meeting, I think Officer, I don't know if it was IU or somebody said that they're going to check into that. But my concern is the speeding of people with no license, no registration. You mean you give a citation for that, and then they are let go on their own ordinance to drive wherever they want? What happens if somebody gets hurt on this vehicle that you gave a citation, no registration, no insurance? Isn't that car deemed ineligible to be on the road? And who's liable if they get hurt? Is it HPD for not impounding that car? That's my concern, because the state law for no fault is if they have no insurance, then they hit somebody, then the person they hit is responsible for the medical. And that's an issue that I don't like. So Can you elaborate what is the process for somebody that has no registration, no insurance? And are they allowed to drive their vehicle home or on the road? That's my concern. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can answer that question, Mr. Sakamoto. Let me answer question number one regarding the lookouts. We do currently close the lookouts using the DOT gates, and we reopen those in the morning, every morning. And that's every day. And as far as the registration, we do issue citations for those, and they are permitted to drive off with that. What they are not permitted to drive off with is when they get a citation for driving without a license. We require them to have a licensed driver come and drive off with the vehicle because they're not licensed to drive. So that's a liability for us, letting an unlicensed driver drive.
Well, concurrent to the gate closure, I've been having a former employee that works. I was a former employee from Marine Corps Base Hawaii Exchange, EOD. And my friend goes home every night at 8:30 from the exchange, passes the gate on the west side and it's still open. So when is the closure for the gate for your officers to close it? Because it's 8:30 and there's cars in there sometimes.
Yes, so prior to this, there were two conflicting signs on both sides. One was 8:30, and I believe that side was 9 o'clock. So we went with the standard 9 o'clock to go out there and close the gate on the coming out of Kāne Marine Corps Base.
And I noticed that there's a gate closes for big vehicles, but motorcycles still can go around on the edge to inside if they can. Is that correct?
They could go around they would have to go on the grass and dirt area to get into that lookout area. But since we've been closing it, we've had good results with the closure of the gates.
And how about weekends? Do they congregate there in the daytime? Because some people have contacted me that live right below the scene of lookout, and it's noisy with noise from the cars and speed sports bikes.
Yes, I haven't heard any recent complaints of large vehicles, but we do monitor it on the weekends. And like I said, we are out there quite often on the H3, monitoring from Kāne Marine Corps Base all the way to the tunnels.
Okay. Have you folks worked with other districts, District 8 or District 5, to see if they can prevent these people from coming out from our side?
No, we haven't.
Okay. That might be a good suggestion. I attend the neighborhood 21 and I already talked to the officer there about if they can help out.
Donald,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Jody.
Okay, yeah, thanks for the report. Real quick, this is more so, I have a question for future context. So for the next meeting, could you provide, I'm curious to know if we have, or where the hotspots may be for accidents on our roads. Because I want to bring that up because there's always discussions on cameras and speeding. So it'd be good to actually know for context where the actual issues are in terms of accidents within Kaneohe. And then, so no answer for that one right now, just a question. And then I had a follow-up, another question, which was just when is the next Coffee with a Cop occurring?
No, I'm not exactly when the next Coffee with a Cop is here in District 4. I know they're going to be doing the town hall meeting out in Kahuku. So I can look into the next Coffee with a Cop.
And two questions. Electric bicycles, probably a lot easier to catch them than the racers on H3, but are they allowed to be on the sidewalk?
No. Electric bikes, so let me clarify that with the electric bicycles. They're permitted, let me correct myself, permitted to ride on residential sidewalks, but must follow 10-mile-per-hour speed limit. They are prohibited on business district sidewalks.
Okay, thank you. And the last one having to do with the report of ticketing. You said that since the beginning of the year, about 500 tickets in various shapes and forms. Have you ever cut any racers?
Yes. Yes, we have. Numerous. The exact number, I don't know, but I've been out there myself, monitoring the enforcement when they're out there, and we have caught racers, yes.
I would be curious to know, and I bet you the Marine Corps base would be curious to know if there was a large number of racers that are coming from the base or from the local populace. And I mentioned this last month during new arrivals orientation, when people arrive here, as long as they're, one of the things that helps us is that they get briefed on the things that they shouldn't be doing. And the military is famous for that. So is there any way to get that information?
You know, I'm going to say is going to be very hard to get to start logging down who's military and who's not. We just cite them for the violation when we see it. And, you know, we don't, the demographics of it, I wouldn't have that. I'm not too sure. And I'm not too sure, really, honestly, if we can get that.
Can you bring this up to the major and the leadership that if somebody from the military is caught racing, that you call military police to come get them? That way their command is notified and it's not just a ticket they can keep in their back pocket and pay. There's a little bit more repercussions when they're putting the community in danger. If you would mind.
Yes, I can look into that, but detaining you more than that we are legally allowed might be a problem. You know,
Might be.
Yeah.
That's okay. It might be. It might be also a lesson.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for coming.
Oh,
See
no
you
problem.
next month.
Yes.
Next, is there anyone from Hawaii Department of Transportation? The list is growing. We're looking for a status update on camera installation on H3. We're looking for a status update on the scenic lookouts, which I think we got squared away tonight. And there was a question about the metal plates on the H3. Is there a work completion and removal date? And I'll include these in the next set of minutes going out. Moving on to Marine Corps Base Hawaii. Is a representative here? Christy.
Good evening, Chair, board members, and community. This evening, I'll just do a quick, I want to actually ask a question of HPD. If when you're pulling and citing individuals, typically the active duty military will have a out-of-state license, and that would be one way to begin to collect some data. And if there was a way to say we collected maybe 30 and maybe 20 of them was from this specific state. I don't know how much PII, private personal information you can share with the command, but that may be a way that we'll be able to address that a little bit more, like you had mentioned, Mo, in regards to letting their headquarters know. Moving on to our report, we've had a very busy beginning of our year. I can't believe we're in the middle of March. I just wanted to share a few community events that we've hosted over the last few weeks. We were able to provide the Hokolea with safe harbor during their entry into Kualoa for their 50th birthday. This was a short and quick request, and the base, and along with the marina, were very happy to support. And the time frame that they needed was not, it's based off of their wind conditions and what is safe for them to come in. And they wanted to be able to travel into Kualoa safely. And so we were able to provide them just overnight. We were initially requested for a whole week. And that what was wonderful was that the base said, yes, whatever time frame you need to be there, 5, 4, 3 to 1 days will support the folks being there. Also, we had Kāne Voyaging Academy come in, sail in to waterfront operations. They spent the night and they had opportunity to exchange voyaging navigation information with the Aloha ambassadors from Mokapu Elementary School. It was a wonderful exchange. And then their 9th grade students, which I would like to give a shout out to artists, that they are part of the, they're in their first year to move towards their AA in the program that you organized. So it was wonderful. 13 students who have excelled in their academics They came on board, they had a tour of waterfront ops and learned a little bit about the environmental parts that are important, as well as the security and safety that waterfront provides and opportunity for possible career paths. That's what we've been involved with community-wise. This evening, I'd like to introduce you to one of our subject matter experts. And this is also a very happy story. Very happy, because I know the community has been requesting the this information and this work to occur for many years. But I'd like to introduce you to Jessica, and she's going to talk to you about our water reclamation improvements.
Sorry, chill. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Hawkins, and I'm with Stantec GS. And first, I'd like to say thank you for having me here tonight. And as Chrissy mentioned, I just wanted to talk about the project that is going on at the Marine Corps base. And it is, well, it's not going on yet, but this is the proposed action. So there's a water reclamation facility at the Marine Corps base. And our company has written the EA, which is environmental assessment for this project. So the proposed action is to build this redundant wastewater treatment facility to assist with the water treatment at that plant. So I brought two flyers, and one is a quick little summary, and the other one is a little bit more involved, and there's a map. So it shows you the new facilities that are going to be built. And I just wanted to mention that this will be available to the public, and public involvement is highly encouraged. So the public comment period is from April 8th to May 8th. That's a 30-day comment period. And the environmental assessment will be available at the Kailua Library and the Kaneohe Library, and as well as on the Marine Corps Base website. And you can submit your comments on the website or by mail, and all that information is provided on the website and in these flyers that I provided. As Chrissy mentioned, I helped write the biological resources section, but I can also help answer any questions for, say that again. Okay, thank you very much. What was your name? Diane, thank you for mentioning that. We will look, yes, that's a great tip. Thank you very much. Thanks. And I will stick around at the end of the meeting if anybody has any questions, if you want to grab a flyer, and maybe some of your questions will be answered in the flyer. Otherwise, I can help answer your question tonight or get back to you at a later time.
Chair.
You have a question from Marine Corps Base Hawaii?
Yes.
Okay. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you for your presentation. As a blind individual, if I can't do the survey online, can I do it over the phone with you and just correspond that way if there's other people that can't do it, that don't have computer access?
You can also mail like handwritten mail. Is that helpful or?
In the past, when I used to do surveys with the city, they made accommodations to do it over the phone. So if that's possible.
Yeah, I will look into that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, Christy has my email, so thank you.
Double check to make sure that there's a phone number that can be called with questions.
Thank you.
Kim online.
Thank you. Question, what kind of water will you be reclaiming? Is it gray? Is it like irrigation water? Is it water from washing planes? It's not human waste water, correct?
It is a mixture of the water that is used on base, and the proposed action will help then turn that water into R1 water, which is a very reusable, friendly type of water. And that can be used then for the Clipper golf course. And right now, it's like a little bit confusing, but it's just, so there's the Kailua Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant and then the Marine Corps wastewater treatment facility, and they each have their own outfalls, but then it connects at a certain point, and then that makes sense. And then goes out to the ocean. Yes.
So does that mean?
The outfall is in Kailua Bay, but
Yeah, that's not the question. The question was
Yeah.
simply, I think you answered it.
Okay.
I don't think there was a need to go into the whole structure, the whole system. Kim, did you have something else to add?
Could you just clarify what R1 water is? Is that for irrigation? It's not for drinking.
correct, it's not for drinking, it's for irrigation purposes.
Thank
Can it
you.
can it be used for anything else?
Well, not potable water, not drinkable. water.
Right.
Like it's aside from potable water, it's like the most user-friendly water. There's a R1, R2, and R3. So.
Is this going to be on base?
so
The reclamation facility?
Yes, it's going to be in the same footprint as the existing one is. There's some colors here to describe, but it's in the same area and yeah.
Okay. Looking forward to seeing the EA. Elena?
Yeah, thank you. I'm also looking forward to seeing the EA. I think the community has been asking that base upgrade to R1 and use that for golf course irrigation for a really long time. So I'm glad that that's in progress. I had one question about that and then another maybe somewhat related question. Has the EA been published? And if so, what is the comment deadline?
The public comment period is from April 8th to May 8th.
May 8th. Okay, thank you. And then the other question I had is, I saw notice that the base got a notice of violation for violating NPDES permit, I guess, water quality standards for the reclamation facility. So I'm curious what is being done to come into compliance and whether the upgrades that are being proposed at the reclamation facility are to help with that.
I will get back with you, Elena, on that. I can email you. We did just have a notice, and there was a publication also put out in regards to that onto the website just today. If you want to check that out, and I can also forward it to you. Is that good?
Awesome. Thanks, Christy. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Mahalo. Thanks for coming.
And I'll be here at the end if anyone has any questions. And there's slides.
Next are board briefs and discussion. We have a brief coming up on an invasive anemone in Kaneohe Bay. Kate Gonzalez and Jesse. Jesse, online?
Yeah, thank you. I have a presentation here, but first, yeah, thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but my name is Jesse Board. I'm the aquatic biologist with the Aquatic Invasive Species team with the Division of Aquatic Resources. I'm here today basically just to cover an invasive anemone that we detected in Kaneohe on Reef 8. So before I get into that, I'll go ahead and share screen here so I can share my presentation. Let's see, how's that? That should be all right there. So yeah, the presentation that we have today for you covers an invasive anemone that was detected on Reef 8 within Kaneohe Bay. So the timeline for this can be a little confusing. So just to provide a brief bit of background, these anemones were basically introduced as a hitchhiker on non-native coral that was outplanted from an aquarium release. This was reported to us back in May of 2020. Our team responded by removing these corals as well as the anemone that was present in only a few polyps within the coral. At the time, we believed that they were removed. We only noticed a couple of them. We continued to follow up monitor these sites for non-native coral, as well as invasive anemones, and we did not detect any for a number of years. As years went on, more colonies were reported on the reef to have been outplanted on different places. We continued to remove them. We did not notice any additional anemones. However, this past October, our team during follow-up monitoring detected a spread of anemones that was growing in almost this hidden way within the reef network down in the crevices. So just to provide a bit more info on that timeline, this spread was essentially detected when the anemone was nested within a 20 by 40 meter plot. So this truly is kind of in this introductory spread phase rather than an established phase. So we are hoping to move forward. We are intending to move forward with removal in coming months with this anemone. Oh, I don't know if that's a little formatting issue there, but let me see if I can fix that really quick. Sorry. Perfect. So just to go back into what makes this anemone a really problematic invader, essentially it is highly reproductive, it's highly fecund and able to reproduce and spread rapidly. It prefers all sorts of substrate ranging from dead coral, live coral, rubble, mangroves, glass, literally anything that is kind of hard it will settle on. This species was also introduced in a separate aquarium dump in Pearl Harbor and is posing a problem for removal. It's spread to cover quite an area that's larger than 20 by 40 meters there. However, that's from a separate introduction and within Pearl Harbor jurisdiction, so they are handling that removal separately. Add to some of the things that make this species more of a concern. It's a broadcast spawner, so what makes removal more difficult is that when this thing becomes stressed or irritated, it will essentially just release gametes into the water that can then in turn settle and become more anemones or spread within the water due to currents. It's rapidly growing. It's constantly competing for space and smothering these native coral species that act as fish habitat, invert habitat, and really are those kind of nice species that we like to see on the reef. And there's multiple reasons, economic, ecosystem based there. But essentially, this isn't only able to reproduce by broadcast spawning. It is able to literally leave behind a tiny little clump of cells, and it can walk away, becoming two entirely fully reproductive organisms. So it's quite alien-like in how it behaves, and it's really kind of demanding this unique approach to removal. Sorry, I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. So to go into some of our response where we started out, after we received after we detected the anemone on Reef 8, we went ahead and surveyed the entire reef as well as moorings and nearby reefs to assure that this anemone was truly located in that collected 20 by 40 meter plot. Our surveys have determined that it is. We have not detected the anemone outside of that plot that you can see on the right. We went into further delineation within that plot just to have an exact map of where the anemone is. And we are actively monitoring it using what is called structure for motion. So we essentially have a collage of photos that creates an active map that we are able to monitor the spread. So a lot of the information for this doesn't actually come out of research or management. It comes from gray literature, which is basically, it's not peer reviewed. It's coming out of the aquarium industry a lot of the times. This is something that aquarists hate. It's a species that really takes over their tank. After talking with people and just reading through articles online, a lot of times when this sets into a tank, it can go from 40 to 50 anemones in 3 weeks. It can manage to escape glue, marine grade epoxy, you name it. It is a hardy individual. We actually started running our own lethality trials, trying to find what would basically kill this anemone. And we found that, yeah, things that are essentially the texture of clay, a clump of clay, it can weasel its way out, as you see on the photo to the right. It can weasel its way out and start walking away and literally kind of end up on the side of the tank. So this doesn't just call for physical removal. It's not possible to just pick this off the reef. This is something that's going to really look into physical removal with a combination of chemical removal in order to be effective. Which is where we've kind of arrived at this targeted approach of utilizing tarping with chlorine for this small area that's been infested. As you can see here, just a better image of the anemones. These things are so small, like 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter, and leaving one of them can be detrimental to our efforts to eradicate them. So this really is kind of, this really is a response that's necessary to deal with this infestation. And then just what our efforts have also involved is really just reaching out to the community and sharing our efforts, sharing what can be done in terms of additional detection, where to report. We're working on harbor signage. We have all kinds of unique kind of specifically tailored outreach that have gone to various commercial businesses, military operators, as well as our partners. And we're continuing to hold meetings with folks like you. We've really tried to reach out to the community to start this discussion and really kind of taking in any input that comes in with this. We are also currently, we have a bill on the Senate floor that it's going through another Senate committee that would provide funding for this removal opportunity, with quite a bit of funding on the backside for coral mitigation, since these efforts for removal will essentially result in a small amount of coral loss. So we are trying our best to come up with a plan for mitigation on the backside. And these are kind of our upcoming actions. We have more permitting to go through. We're finalizing our eradication and permitting plans, as well as the mitigation plans. We're continuing to meet with partners and stakeholders throughout the community, as well as kind of distributing more information and targeted signage. I know that we may not have a lot of time for questions, so I wanted to leave my contact here, as well as a couple QR codes that are to the AIS website, the Aquatic Invasive Species website with DAR, as well as a little bit on our campaign to address some of those aquarium release issues that I mentioned. But I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for allowing me the time.
Thank you very much and appreciate your efforts. Any questions?
Question, Chair. Sakamoto.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. So you are trying to get funding from the state. Is there any funding from the federal government, or this is just state funding?
Currently just state funding. The bill would provide funding. It's, I believe it's House Bill 1220, 1220. And yeah, it would provide $200,000 over 2 years. So it would be $400,000 in total that is meant to go towards supplies for removal, mitigation, as well as contracting if necessary.
Okay, thank you. Good luck with that bill. Thank you.
Who? Elena.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation and everything you folks are doing to eradicate this anemone. I have a question about, it seems like there's a lot of problems, particularly in Kaneohe Bay, that are a result of, aquarium getting dumped into the bay. Does DAR or any other agency or organization that you're aware of have any kind of amnesty program where folks instead of dumping it into our oceans, can surrender, these fish or corals or whatever somewhere where it can be dealt with appropriately?
Yes, thank you. I love that plug. There's actually, with the Don't Let It Loose program, that QR code that I mentioned, that campaign is aimed at exactly that. We are trying to let people know that if there are aquariums that they either have pets or just an aquarium setup and they don't know what to do with it, please relinquish it to HDOA or the Waikiki Aquarium. It can be relinquished to them without any questions asked, whether that animal is something as bad as this anemone that you're not supposed to have in your possession, or if it's just your goldfish that you don't know what to do with. And on top of that, I will add, please do not dump water into natural environments as well. The water can hold disease and microscopic organisms as well. So that goes along with that. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. And I apologize if it was part of your presentation and I missed it, but thanks for
No.
highlighting that.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for the brief.
Yes, thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Next board brief is a site visit brief from Board Member Burbage, who did a ride along with Council Member Kia Aina to look at possible dump sites. Laura, are you on? I know she's off island right now. Okay, we'll have to catch up next time we see you. Now we move into resident community concerns. There are 3 that are listed. And then, of course, there's obviously others that anybody's welcome to bring up. First one is the Oahu Pentathlon briefing. Is there anyone here from that group?
I'm here.
Hey, do your
Hi.
worst.
Hi, I'm Sarah Mayo. I'm the founder and vice director of the Oahu Pentathlon. This is our 4th consecutive year presenting this event to the board for our event held in August. This year it's August 9th. The big picture of this event is that it's a 135-mile adventure style ultra endurance event to circumnavigate the island by swim, run, paddle, sandbag carry, and bike. The portion of this event impacting the Kaneohe district is a portion of the run, which begins in Kailua, but enters the Kaneohe neighborhood via Kaneohe Bay Drive. This route, as in years before, connects with Highway 630, also Kaneohe Bay Drive, and then onto Kamehameha Highway using Haiku Road to connect to Kahekili Highway, which then exits the neighborhood northbound towards Kualoa Regional Park. This is exactly the same course that we have ran the last 4 years with no issue, and in the same way as before, we will not need to impede the flow of traffic. This has also been the recommendation of the Department of Transportation just because of our smaller numbers. That means that we're not requesting, excuse me, any cones or change of traffic. There's no parking that's necessary, given that we're just kind of passing through. Any parking that we'll be doing is within Kailua. We anticipate between 200 and 300 total athletes, but that actually means that only about 30 to 40 individuals actually pass through that route, given that the total athletes are mostly broken up into teams. So we're, again, not requesting to get anything blocked off. We do have volunteers set up at points of traffic lights or crosswalks to kind of help point them in the right direction. And athletes are expected to go along with the flow of traffic, obey all traffic laws, pedestrian laws. And we are just kind of, again, passing through without any stopovers in Kaneohe. So that's, again, kind of the same rundown as years previous, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for your brief. Could you do me a favor and email to me a map of your prospective route so I can post it to the Kaneohe Neighborhood Board blog and Facebook page?
Great, I can do that.
Thank you. Next, resident community, ma'am, why don't you come up and do yours? I know, Sean, you're next on the list, but I think yours can take a little bit longer and this one's going to be brief.
Good evening. My name is Bernie Reeves, and I would like to let the people in Kaneohe know that we will be restarting the service fair for the homeless of Kaneohe on Friday, April 4th. It will be held at the Kaneohe District Park in the parking lot across from the main building near the skate park, right over there. This is a one-stop service center for the homeless so they can improve their life situation. There will be representatives from Project Vision with the shower van, IHS, Catholic Charities, Veteran Services, Waimanalo Health Center, clothing from Parker Methodist Church, lunches from River of Life Church, and hygiene packs from St. Anne's Church. Thank you.
Thank you. Keone.
Just clarification on location. It's across street Monka or it's by the skate thingy. By the skate thing. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Next up, Sean Kapu is going to talk about give the board an update on the conditional use permitting. What's the name of your street? Cobb Adams Road.
Thank you. In September 2024, Alan Johnson, CEO of Hinamalka, presented to the Kaneohe Neighborhood Board. Alan informed the community, the board and the board that the Hinamalka would expand their therapeutic living program with a pilot housing initiative. Alan assured the board and the community this new program would not be an independent living arrangement like a clean and sober home. Being a pilot program, this uncharted territory for Hinamalka is understood that they have no prior experience, no understanding, and no established track record. In addition, Hinamalka would be serving successfully chronically ill patients in this program who have suffered from substance abuse, PTSD, behavioral health issues, and other chronic conditions. Sorry, my contact lens is kind of and there are now in need of therapeutic living conditions. To reiterate, to reiterate with the community, with the majority coming from the Women's Community Correctional Facility and placed in the new pilot housing program on Cobb Ave. As Alan Johnson emphasized, changes are coming and the community must get used to us being present. The community must get used to us being present. In addition, Alan Johnson accentuated the significant federal funding involved as it represents considerable big business opportunity. Alan was persistent in the importance of being a good neighbor. However, his lack of knowledge and experience raised significant concern. He informed the community and board about his plans, claiming the community supported his proposal. If this were true, he would have discovered that the neighbors had recently gone through similar issues with this owner-seller, Ken Arima, and the community in reality is not in favor of this program in the inadequate location. Additionally, the community has taken a proactive approach to problem solving. Upon learning who the purchaser was, not by the purchaser, but by the seller, we took the initiative to reach out to Sherry Kinoshita with Hinamalka. We informed her of the challenges and requested they put it on pause while the home was still in escrow. This would avoid Hinamalka for being on the hook for $2.9 million and now today scramble to realize some sort of return on their investment. During his presentation to the board, Alan was not forthcoming with the location, seemed to misunderstand the expansion question, intended only a handful of people to start. However, he never provided an actual number. He also failed to answer the question raised by Chair Radke regarding concerns about the residents living in the area. Instead, he suggested neighbors would probably need their services too. Being cognizant that conditional use permits was required, Alan knew they did not have certificate of occupancy and stated no one would move into the house until all the permits and licensings was obtained. Initially, he tried to follow the footsteps of the previous owner, but the house has been sitting vacant for 5 months. I'm trying to wrap it up here, Paul, sorry. The good news is that the community is coming together to champion transparency and advocate for a clear understanding of the current land use ordinance. These ordinances are crucial for protecting the community, but they're set to be revised again this September, making another change in just 5 years. While we have been actively working on this issue since 2013, we remain optimistic and committed to protecting our neighborhood against shifts that may not align with the residents' best interest. Together, we can work towards a balanced development and community well-being. Now, here's the update. Hinamalka will no longer be operating a transitional living program. Instead, They will act as landlords to Makana Okiakua, MOCA, which is a clean and sober housing provider. As of February 27th, Hinamaka still does not have a certificate of occupancy, and the request for information from DPP has been open. As of today, no CO was issued. Nevertheless, people are living in the home. According to MOCA, a certificate of occupancy is not necessary, nor is the license or regulatory method required for their operation. MOCA also intends to accommodate 8 tenants and a staff member. During a March 5th on-site meeting facilitated by Senator Keohana Kalole and his office manager, Jules, along with Justin Lamb from the Office of Healthcare Assurance, and the neighbors, we were made aware of this new plan. The original agenda was planned to meet between Senator Keohana Kalole, Alan Johnson, DOH, and the neighbors. This was to address the concerns and seek clarity with DOH regarding the process. To everyone's surprise, an unknown fifth party, MOCA, was in attendance. After feeling blindsided, this meeting quickly evolved into a contentious and frustrating meeting, with Alan Johnson stating it is their home, they can do with it as they please, and that he is coming. Because of these shady dealings and backdoor manipulations, their neighbors are aggravated and vehemently opposed. We have collected over 200 signatures opposing this. We have been trying to warn and mitigate this problem before construction began with numerous phone calls and emails to our elected city and county, state officials, and DPP, many of which received no answer or response. After 12 years of grappling with this community concern, here we are again, round 2. It is now clear the original owner fraudulently obtained building permit and his intentions were revealed. He indeed intended to and did build 4 homes for a total of 30 bedrooms, 30 ADA compliant walk-in bathrooms, and 5 half bathrooms to operate a group living adult residential care type home without permits or license. As he, original owner Ken Arena, stated, no one checks, no one will care. He was round 1. Now we're on to round 2. The community's distrust began in 2013, well before construction started, and continues today with the current owner. This distrust is evident in the difference between their words and the completely contradictory action. When we say we have been down this road before, we generally mean it. After finding out about the purchaser and the plan, again, not from Hinamauka, within 24 hours, we collected over 200 signatures, and the majority being retired, fixed people, longtime residents of Kaneohe and the greater Ko'olau area, which all opposing this project and any similar group living project on this or any other inadequate area. It would also not align with the Ko'olau Sustainable Master Plan. Parking is an issue with cars lining both sides of the road, one side being entirely designed as no parking, a frequently ignored regulation. There are no sidewalks. With the increase in vehicle traffic, the safety for pedestrians and those disabled is a concern, should not be overlooked. What was most disturbing is that at this meeting, I had a chance to speak with a representative from Oakland. And I asked him, I said, does he feel it okay if a neighbor is displaced because they can no longer afford to maintain their home and their land? With the increase in tax, one home taxes that really went up a couple $1,000s in the past 5 years. What's going to happen during the next 5 years? And his answer was, yes, I feel it's fair. That kind of took me back. These types of people are going to move into my neighborhood, move into your neighborhood, and you're going to be displaced because of the rise in your maintenance fee and anything. And they're going to think it's okay. There's got to be some way to stop this, or at least curb it. We have Kinaole Estates on William Henry Road, within 1,000 feet of within 1,000 feet of Cobb Adams Road, we have this house. There's laws on the books that prohibit group living within 1,000 feet of each other. Why can we not enforce this law? What's going on?
Okay, thank you.
That's right.
I have some specific questions. I don't want you to answer these, but I want them in the minutes. So I'll speak to them right now. If there are people living in the house and there is no occupancy certificate, is that legal? If the original property was built and there are permit violations, what's being done about that? Obviously, this is 11 years, 12 years now. I think I asked you this question before of the 200 signatures that were opposing the project. How many were collected inside in Kaneohe? Displacement of low income residents. I'd like to know a little bit more about how, unless you're saying their taxes are increasing, which is causing them to be displaced. In which case I understand that. Was that, I see head nodding yes. Is that what I'm getting? Okay, thank you. And the last comment is this gentleman came to our board and briefed us on something that was going to be done with this property, and that wasn't the fact that this property ended up doing. I think this gentleman needs to come back to the board and explain what they're doing before continuing on, especially if they don't have a permit. They should be coming to this board and asking, at least briefing us on what they were doing and explaining the change. I do definitely remember women's correctional custody folks being able to be housed there. And now that's not the case. Neil and then Adriel.
Yeah, I had occasion to meet with Sean and spent some time and have been in conversation with him for a couple of months over this. And when I first went to Cobb Adams, I have to say I was completely appalled by the situation. And I think the overriding question, and this is a comment, but it is a question, is DPP seems to be allowing whatever development, whoever wants to do whatever. And it's not only on Cobb Adams. It's the building that I showed at the last neighborhood board meeting. How did it, what permit, what's going on here? They seem to be allowing whatever development a developer wants to do, whatever comes along. They will, and I don't think there is a permitting process. There's no occupancy permit for this building. And then there is the people who want to take advantage of the less than wonderful operation of DPP. I would like to hear from DPP and have an answer for not only Sean's issue, but all of the other, and I can point to one in my neighborhood. Like I said, from the last meeting, brought pictures. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for the method of operation for DPP. And
Good, thank you. Adriel.
Yeah, I just had a question of clarification on, what happened is we had the briefing from Hina Malka, and it sounds like their plans went away, but then some other entity came. What was the name of that entity? And you keep saying MOCA. What does that stand for? Makani o Keakua. Thank you.
Chair.
Okay, Mr. Sakamoto.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Your
Sean.
sand is starting to run out, so just be advised.
Sharon, thank you for your presentation. I deal with the ADA law, and it's going to be celebrating 35 years. When it's a project like this done, an access way, that's a Title III, it's private owned, so that should be also investigated to see if they have the legal attribution with DPP. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Any other resident community concerns? Come on up to the microphone, and then there's another.
Aloha board. Aloha, my name is Amy Sato. I'm a resident of Kaneohe and Kahalu'u and also working on Coconut Island or Moku'olo'e, the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology. I also have our director here from HIMB, just so you folks know our faces. My role is the stewardship coordinator for HIMB and Moku'olo'e and also the Heia Reserve that includes Kako'iwi, Paipai'oheia, the Bay. We also work with Anti Rocky folks, with Ko'olau Hawaiian Civic Club, Ko'olau Foundation. The concern I'm bringing today, I think hopefully most of you folks know already, but the coconut rhinoceros beetle, the CRB, invasive species, the beetle that eats our coconuts. If you go to the west side, you'll see the damage. They are past knocking on our doorstep, and they are in our Kaneohe community. If you go up to Ho'omaluhia, you'll see that a lot of the palms are damaged. A lot of the leaves have the little cut patterns. It's not just coconuts, it's royal palms. A lot of the landscaping palms are native lolu palms, banana, our hala trees. And it's definitely an issue that's a big concern in our reserve and Moku'olo'e. If you know, our name is Coconut Island because we have over 400 coconut trees. And we do have confirmed damage from CRB. So I also wanted to, in addition to bringing up this concern, just so we're all aware of the CRB, we also wanted to bring up some of the approaches that we're taking. One of the best approaches is to reduce the green waste and mulch piles. That's the breeding grounds for these CRB, the beetles. So because we can't currently get anything big off of the island right now due to some infrastructure, the best way is to do burns. So small controlled burns, like we're not talking huge ones, like emu size.
Okay, can you tell us when that's going to, of course, so people in the community don't
Yes, so
take the islands on fire?
yes, so that's the big thing. We didn't want everybody to freak out when they see smoke. We've been working with the Clean Air Branch and finally got approval to do exemption for limited burns. It can start as soon as next week, but we always have to call HFD and Clean Air Branch to make sure that there's no burn. It's called no burn period when it's like too foggy or maybe it's too windy. We also have like strict agreements. So I do have an info sheet. I emailed it to you too, Mo. So if you want to put it on the neighborhood board site, that's great. The more people know about this, we've contacted the Lilipuna neighbors. We went to Kahalu'u neighborhood board. We've contacted council members, state reps, senators. But we're hoping we're getting the word out so that people aren't concerned when they see the smoke.
And the information sheet that you have has contact information on it?
Yes, on the bottom.
And we will definitely post it on the blog and on the Facebook page.
Yes, thank you. If you have any questions.
No. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Aloha Chair Radke, board members and community members. My name is Kathy Takakua. I'm a resident of Waikoloa Kaneohe in the Vanholawai place, which is one street up from Naoniala. You might recall that last board meeting, I presented a issue concerning my neighborhood, which is the possible development of a parcel of land at the end of our dead-end street. Bayview hole number 5 is located there. And tonight I'd like to give you just an update of what we've learned since we recorded last week. The property of concern is owned by Dragon Pacific Investment. According to the State Department of Commerce and Community and Consumer Affairs, the president of the company is Carrie Lau, who is also the president of Iron Manapua Factory, Regal Bakery, and Regal Diner. On the same day that Dragon Pacific Investment purchased the parcel at the end of our street, they also purchased 7 other properties in Kaneohe. They purchased each parcel for $1,700,000 from the Windward Church of Nazarene. So you have a list of the parcels they own in Kaneohe. All 8 parcels are classified as preservation, and up until recently, all 8 were used by Bayview Golf Course. So you can see there's a picture, it's kind of small, but you can see where the parcels are, and they're distributed around the golf course. So there's a large one on the left, there's 2 in the parking lot, there's 4 connected at the edge of the golf course, and then across the stream is that large one that's at the end of our street. Although we don't know what agreements the golf course has with Dragon Pacific Investment or what the landowner's plan is, we will remain vigilant about attempts to build on the parcel, which is at the end of our street. It is the only parcel of the 8 that is not part of the main golf course. And now that the bridge that connected it to the course has collapsed, the parcel is completely separate and inaccessible by golfers. As we understand it, the process of gaining approval to build residences on preservation land involves the City and County of Honolulu's Department of Planning and Permitting, the City Council's Zoning Committee, and possibly the Honolulu Planning Commission. We want to respond immediately to any initiatives by the owner to develop, and are in the process of figuring out how we can receive email notifications from these bodies about applications for zoning changes or for special use permits. So I just, on behalf of our neighbors and myself, I wanted to thank you for the guidance that you've given us so far. And if there's any ideas or resources that you would recommend, please let us know. Mahalo.
Did anybody from Dragon answer your?
We didn't reach out to them. We can.
I'd just be curious to know if just with full transparency,
Yeah.
if they have a plan for that property and if they're planning to rebuild the bridge.
Yeah.
But then again, it's preservation land. Is it preservation or conservation?
Preservation.
Yeah, you just can't build houses on it.
Right.
And not without pretty major fanfare. So if they do start doing that, we will all hear about it. Yes, there's more questions?
Yeah, that's old hole number 6 across the bridge. And as I said to you via email, again, I'm repeating myself, DPP needs to be minded. We need to pay attention to what DPP is doing because they're liable to just accept some change without us knowing. And then after the fact, it's harder. So we need to be proactive. Again, I want DPP to answer what's it going to take for us to be informed before any changes are made to.
And so do you expect DPP to come to this board and explain what they're doing to not do that in the future?
Well, and to answer Sean's issue, yeah, that's what I think that's what
Okay.
we should try for.
Thanks. Adriel.
Yeah, thanks for the follow-up on this and the information. I guess my question to you and the community is, what do you see for that property? I mean, it's preservation. Do you think it's good to be a park, for the bridge to be restored? What's the, besides not doing something, right? What is expectations for the area?
Well, I mean, we don't have an expectation, but if you visit the property, it's a big, beautiful property. And it would be wonderful if it was a community park, accessible only by foot, because both ends of it are dead-end streets, so can't really have a lot of traffic. But we would love to see a native plant garden that people could walk and have their dogs and bring their families. It's right by the stream. It would be really lovely. And that would help to regenerate the soil there to make it so that it would be more absorbent and be able to be part of flood control also.
Yeah,
Real quick.
nice. Keone.
Real quick, just want to say thank you for doing the research and presenting it. Well done.
Mahalo. Online, Annette.
Kaneohe Neighborhood Board.
Good evening.
I live up by Mokulele and Kamehameha Highway in a cul-de-sac. It's really nice to drive from Pali all the way up to Kaneohe Bay Drive because we have all the new roads. Wanted to find out what's the status from Kaneohe Bay Drive up to Haiku because the both up and down, it's horrible. Just going to the mall and coming back home. it's I and more so with the recent rains, it's terrible driving. What is the status of our complete streets and what's supposed to be going on for the rest of Kaneohe? That's my question.
Got it. Great question to take to the governor's representative to take back to the DOT or the city's representative, if it's a city road, to take back to DTS. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Margaret?
Chair Radke, thank you. I wanted to bring an update to this community after my presentation in the previous board meeting. That was specifically on construction that we had been observing along the Kaneohe stream, directly parallel to Kalauli Street. So thank you very much for the guidance. We have followed up and done investigation on those parcels where we've observed construction. Specifically, there's two parcels involved there along the Kaneohe stream. One, of course, is the Pacific American Foundation. That's the area leading to the fish pond. The other, however, is part of the Bayview Kaneohe Golf Park. And that's the site where the community has seen heavy machinery and construction material being moved, being deposited, and we have no formal information. Of course, we're very much interested to see if there's any public information involved with the scope of any construction projects that might take place. And as I shared last time, we've heard information, rumors that it's anywhere from a pavilion being constructed to UH classrooms being constructed. Now, is that going to be taking place on that Bay Area parcel? Is it related to the fish ponds? This is what I'm following up with the Pacific American Foundation, with Dr. Chiote there, and I've sent an email with information and request for anything to be shared. As soon as I have updates on that, I will certainly bring them back to this board to share that information, and of course make that shareable with the public as well. So of course, if anyone's heard anything or has any information or any other contacts I should follow up with, I'd be gratefully received.
Thank you for the update. Does anyone have an understanding of what's happening across the stream near the fish pond? Okay. Yes. I wonder if this has to do with the water, the sewage upgrade that was under consent decree, or is the consent decree stuff done? Andy, do you know? Because I know they had to dig pretty deep in some places that we were concerned about. Would you be able to find out if that's the sewage? Thanks. Thanks again for the update. We'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Chair Radke.
Any other community concerns? Yes. Could you come to the microphone, please?
to all the members here gathered and to the public. I just wanted to address, my name is Susan Ritchie, and I'm a 13-year resident of Kaneohe, which I love dearly. It's a beautiful, and I come from Lanka originally, so this is just as beautiful, and I'm so happy to be a resident here. I wanted to answer your question about the Cobb Adams group home living issue. I am a very close friend, the neighbor that lives right next door to this development. Physically, it looks to me to be maybe 10 feet from the house, my friend's house, to the dormitory with 12 bedrooms. That's not a real big leeway where homes are concerned. So it does impact her. So I'm interested in helping with this issue. And in that cause, I went to Windward Home with my friend, the neighbor who lives next door to Cobb Adams Development, and Sean. And we asked for signatures at Windward Mall. So these were people that we knew who came to say hello to us, and we asked them, would you consider supporting this? This is our cause. And we got so many signatures. People who were maybe our age, older, who had lived in Kaneohe for quite a while. And so these were people from the Windward side, and in particular, most of them that we knew from Kaneohe.
Thank you. That was the answer to my question. Any other community concerns? Is a community concern or an announcement? Please, I got to get to elected officials, otherwise they're going to leave. Let's go. Are there any other community concerns? All right, let's move on to elected officials. Governor's representative is here and present, please.
To bring up my computer because I forgot to print this out, so I'm sorry. But hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Diane Ako. I am the state's representative for this board, and this is my first month to be doing this. So what I prepared was, I think y'all want to follow up on what's happening with He'eia State Park. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So Department of Land and Natural Resources is happy to say that the banquet hall at He'eia State Park reopened on March 1st. It has a new vendor to operate it. That is what they had been waiting on. So they have the nonprofit Halal Nohona Hawaii, which has a revocable month-to-month permit. DLNR is evaluating future management options and partnerships like adding educational opportunities, estuary stewardship, and to ensure that He'eia State Park is also known as Kealohi Point, which is a venerated cultural feature of Kaneohe Bay. To prepare for the reopening of the banquet hall, just to give you how big of a space it is, they got 300 new chairs and 40 tables. So, you know, if you want to book your baby shower, your wedding or anniversary celebrations, reunions, they are prepared. There is going to be a caretaker that opens the entrance gate every morning and supports the service of the comfort station. They have a contracted service to maintain the grounds, and the Puakea Foundation will continue its longstanding curatorship agreement with its halal ba'a, which is on site. So they will keep doing the ba'a restoration and educational programs that will now include paddling training and workshops. And also, and this is new, DLNR's Division of Conservation and Resources Enforcement, or DOCARE, is establishing a new field station at the park. So they put an officer trailer to support law enforcement on the Windward Coast. And they say this is new and it's necessary. In December, someone broke into the banquet hall, damaged glass, and stole expensive tools and materials owned by the former operator, Kama'aina Care. Picnic tables and benches have been stolen, and just last month, they put out 2 arson fires at the park. Couple of other things. Did you want me to say the stuff that I included on the agenda, even though it isn't, or that I sent to you, even though it's not on the agenda? Okay, I just put some fun stuff down. State Foundation on Culture and the Arts is having a free event. So if you're looking for something to do, on April 11th, SFCA will be having a First Friday Flash Fresco. Capital Modern artist in residence Solomon Enos will be putting painting lay on that construction barrier, you know, the wooden barriers that you see around the state capitol. So he's continuing to paint that, and the public is welcome to come and help paint. It's free. It's from 4 to 7 in the evening, and it's going to coincide with the Hawaii State Legislature's annual Art at the Capitol event, also sponsored by SFCA. If you don't know about that, they've been doing it for a while. Participating offices open after hours, and people can walk around and look at the SFCA Art in Public Places collection artworks and enjoy live music and dance. So if you want to come down and you want to do the painting, wear clothing that you do not mind getting a little bit dirty, and look for Solomon Enos, a tall Hawaiian-looking man, at the construction barrier near the Father Damien statue. That's the one that faces Beretania Street. I imagine it can't be hard to find him. Looking for an artist with some paint. He will provide the paint, the brushes, and the instruction. You provide the enthusiasm. And lastly, if you're looking for a job or you know somebody who might be looking for a job, Department of Accounting and General Services is hiring engineers and building construction inspectors. Pay range $6,000 to $16,000 a month. And we're taking all experience levels, entry level to managers. Most of those positions are fast tracked. And to apply, DAG's job listings at ags.hawaii.gov/employment. And if you want more information about that, when you go to ags.hawaii.gov and you look at that main page, scroll down and you'll see the press releases there with a little bit more information. Well, Paul, any questions?
Any questions for the governor's representative? Antiraki. Yeah, to the mic, please. And for everybody who's doing the math, that's $72,000 a year to $192,000 a year. So if you're an experienced engineer, there's some bank. Thank you. No, you guys finish your conversation.
Hey, Kalamai, before I start talking, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I have to come up with the truth here because I was at the land board hearing for the Haia State Park, and I was very discouraged. I was very disappointed because we were working on making a plan. We talking about the NER, but couldn't do it with the NER, but one of the NER partners, Kakoa Evie, was putting in a proposal. We asked for a financial report from the Kamaina kids. State Park said they couldn't give it to us. I don't know why, but they're state park, they should have it. Long story short is they gave a permit to a halau from Virginia, the state of Virginia. All of the board members are from the state of Virginia. The last one here in the state of Hawaii, I think was in 2006, which I think it wasn't fair. I think it should have, with all of the hundreds of halaus we have here in the state of Hawaii, why wasn't it offered to the state of Hawaii? It was not put out for public. It was not put out publicly. It was behind the scenes. I talked with somebody from the governor's office about it. I don't know if they got it to the governor himself, but I don't think it's fair. We have kumuhulas at one, Mary Monarchs 3, we live right here in Kolapokomoko. We have Mapuana de Silva. We have the Lopez family. We have the Deliri sisters that live not even a mile away from Haia State Park. Why wasn't it offered to them? But the point I'm getting at, we were putting in a proposal, they sort of like saying that we're incompetent. But we were going to put the proposal in based upon the financial report from the Kamaina kids. We never got it. They never showed it to us because they couldn't get it. And I asked as a community member that I wanted to see an audit of the Haia State Park, of all of the nonprofits they had there in the last 5 years. Because you're the state parks, you're ahead of it. The parks person from the state parks did it behind our backs, behind our own community. And I think somebody from our own community, at least from our own state, should have got a chance to get that permit. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
So much.
How long is that lease?
It's
do
month
you-
to month.
Month to month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll note the comments and share it with the appropriate departments.
Thank you very much. Moving on to, yes, Mayor Plagiardi's representative. Andy, you're here. I'm sorry, was there somebody from Representative Takuta's office? Okay, Andy.
Good evening, Board Chair Radke, board members and committees. Andy Kawano, Director of Budget and Fiscal Services, City and County of Honolulu. Very short report. Again, Mayor posted his monthly newsletter. I encourage all of you to take a pass through it. It's at www.honolulu.gov/mayor/newsletter. You can pull it off of the site there. We are in the budget process right now. If any of you are interested in terms of learning more about the operating and capital improvement budget for the city as proposed by the mayor, we're going through first reading. We've gone through first reading, but I think our special budget meeting on Monday, March 31st should be really interesting because we'll be going through council member amendments, their first shot at amendments to the budgets for the operating, for operations and CIP. That should be pretty interesting. With regard to an item last time, we talked about the Kamo-o-Ali'i stream. I didn't have an update. I talked to Department of Facilities Maintenance. They informed me that the Kaneohe crew completed most of the lower section manually to date, but will need heavy equipment to complete that job. The middle section was also addressed manually by the Kaneohe crew to the extent possible. Again, heavy equipment would be needed to finish that portion. And then in the upper section, which is going to be mostly addressed by heavy equipment, they will be scheduled sometime in spring break to come back with the heavy equipment to finish up the jobs at the lower, middle, and upper areas of that stream. So still a lot of work to do. It looks like they'll be completed in the late April, early May timeframe. With regard to first question raised with regard to some outstanding items and needed status reports, I believe that the Kaneohe Bay Drive to Haiku Road on Kamehameha Highway, that section is some state and then mostly city. So I'll follow up to find out when the complete streets will be done for the next meeting. Yeah, I'll check with DPP to find out if they can send someone out here to talk about some of the issues brought up about permitting and occupancy without the CO, certificate of occupancy.
I think if they come, they should be prepped. That's what we're going to want to talk about.
Okay.
And other issues too. Thank you. I appreciate it. Any questions for the mayor's representative?
Chair Sakuma.
Thumbs up for board member Flytel. Good. Go ahead, Donald.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for your presentation. Thank you, Chair. There was a concern about the Raceway Park. I brought that up in the agenda last month. Any idea so we can get a Raceway Park so these guys that speed on the H3 can speed on the racetrack at least? So we can get them off the road. And I believe the complete streets was brought up by Renee Espial from Department of Transportation in February of 2022. So last I recall, she was talking about making 2025 as construction. So, but I look forward to your report next month.
Yeah, Mr. Sakamoto, you're right about the last update by Renee Espial with regard to the complete streets. I think they should update it though. We're in 2025. I'm not, my understanding is that they have the contract in place. I don't know when they're going to start. So I think DTS should speak to that with, if necessary, Department of Design and Construction as to when the work's going to be done. But that, I know that's still an open item. And that's been a big one for me to get that done. The Raceway Park, they're going to do planning. There are no set dates yet, but the mayor is very focused on getting that moving along during his second term. So hopefully more reporting on that going forward.
Okay, thank you, Andy.
Any other questions?
I just want to say thank you, Andy.
Auntie Rocky? Concern, yes.
Again, I have to say, I don't mean to offend anybody, and I'm going to say it right now, but it is a concern. And this has to do with Kulos Beach Park. And I know it's not of your district, but I know all of you go to Kulo Beach Park because I had an experience this past weekend. I took my great-grandson, it was my great-grandson's birthday. We were there for a party. My granddaughter's car got stalled. We called up the roadside service. Of course, roadside service, you all know, it takes a couple of hours. She got stalled at 5 o'clock. Both her and I went to look for the security there. Couldn't find the security. Roadside service said they won't be there till after 7. We all know that park closes at 7. By 8 o'clock, I had a call from them. They're telling me that there's a tow truck on the way on H3, going to stop at Kāne first and come to us. After they hang up, they said, hang on, we will be texting you. So I hung on, I text me. All of a sudden, this car comes driving, his truck comes driving straight to my granddaughter's truck. And all I heard was effing, 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 loud and clear. What the effing hell are you guys doing here? My granddaughter said, oh, we're still waiting for the truck. Yeah, I heard that effing story so many times. This guy lost his effing keys over here. And you all effing, effing, effing. My grandson was so scared. We had 3 cars there. 3 of us Swahinis, 1 in each car, 2 kids. The oldest kid was 12 years old. My grandson came out, thought that guy was going to hit his mother because I took the kids from my car. And I said, why did you come in the car? He said, Nana, I'd rather he hit me than my mother. I was so angry, and I come to find out that was the security guard that's supposed to be securing us at this city park. And I was waiting for him to let him know that we were in trouble. Instead of he coming up to us and say, are you in trouble or anything? No, I'm swearing, almost banging my granddaughter. I said, I'm sorry, what is your name? I came out and he said, oh, you was at that party too? I said, yes, I was. I'm sorry, waiting for the tow truck. And I said, can I have your name? He didn't give me my name, his name. Then he said, well, I'll go wait at the gate for the tow truck. So after the tow guy picked up the truck and everything, took it almost 8:30. You know, we're already bummed out because you can't go nowhere after the party. On the way out, I said, well, thank you very much. He said, yeah. Is that the kind of security that we need for our community? I was so angry. I called our council member today. I told my council member about it. And they hooked me up with Laura Thiedin's office. Of course, Laura was in there. But I think the mayor should do that. Should hear about it. I work with public relations. These are the kind of people you don't want to be working with our community. Mahalo.
Any other questions for the mayor's representative? Mahalo, Andy. Let's see, moving into, Council Member Kia Aina.
Hi, Chair.
Hi.
Tim Carson, I'm the council member's policy director. She had a previous engagement. So I'll be giving a quick update, mostly on what passed out of the full council that we held yesterday. So Council Member Kiana had 3 bills that were acted on. Bill 17 passed second reading, and it increases the homeowners exemption by 20,000 to 140,000. And if you're kapuna over 65, it raises it 20,000 again to 180,000. And these increases would be effective as of July 1, 2027. Also passed in second reading yesterday was Bill 7, which seeks to align the penalties for illegal fireworks, illegal aerials, to align with state law and state definition, the penalties and definitions. So, you know, we can hopefully start to prosecute and, you know, punish people who break the law accordingly. Bill 7 goes back to the Public Safety Committee on April 3rd for one last time in committee, and then we'll come out for final passage mid-April. Lastly, Resolution 2548 was enacted, which urges the city administration to create an Oahu strategic tourism plan, which the council member introduced after she found out that Oahu was the only county and / island that doesn't have one. And this is important because, you know, we have 58% of the of all tourists that come through the state. And it really seeks to set strategic objectives for regenerative and sustainable tourism. So that'll be transmitted over to the mayor's office for action. She also, Director Kawano referenced the budget process. She also put in some funds into the budget as an amendment to conduct the study. So that's it. Also want to thank Laura Burbidge for attending the February 22nd landfill site visits with us. And we're going to continue to monitor Senate Bill 446, which decreased the buffer to a quarter mile. And, you know, that puts a few windward sites in play. So we're hoping the community works with their state ledge representatives to oppose this bill vehemently. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Chair.
Yes, I see you. I think I took the questions out of turn. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report. Donald Sakamoto, longtime county resident. As Bill 17, you mentioned about exemptions for kapunas, but what if there's people that are below a kapuna and are disabled? Do they have tax credits for those people who may have disabled, like a stroke, and they can't afford to get? Can they get the credits to it?
Not as it's currently written, but I will take that back to the council member.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I just saw a comment that came through. It was Senate Bill 446. And it has not yet received in the hearing in the House. It did cross over, but we're hoping it doesn't make second crossover.
Thank you. Any other questions? Moving on to Senator Keohkalole. Senator Awa. I got a message from his staff saying he wasn't going to be here, but he's working on a bill. Just so everybody knows this, when people send me their notices on the day of the meeting, I'm not really interested in reading off a big long thing for everybody else. So if you're interested to see what the folks that are not here that send me something, it'll appear on our blog, and I'll make sure you get a copy of what was sent to me. Representative Kitagawa.
Hi, I'm here from Rep. Kitagawa's office.
You're always here. Thank you.
My name is Wendy, and I'm Rep. Kitagawa's office manager.
Hi,
Can you hear
welcome.
me? Okay. So, Rep. Kitagawa would like to say thank you to everyone in the district that completed their community surveys. We got 470 results. We got some late that we weren't able to include, but if you live in the district, you should have got our newsletter in late February or early March, and it had all the results in it. Also included in that mail out was a save the date for Rep. Kitagawa and Matayoshi's third annual e-waste recycling drive. So that's going to be on May 31st at Castle High School Auditorium parking lot from 9 to 11 a.m. And also the reps are also planning their annual school supply drive. That's always in July as well. At the Ledge this week, it was Education Week during spring break. It allows the schools to come to the Capitol and showcase their different events and programs. Rep. Kitagawa presented a congratulatory certificate to Christy Inamasu, who is a Kaneohe resident and teaches at Kalihiuka Elementary. She won the 2024 Milken Educator Award. And lastly, we're about 3 months into the lead session. The House passed the state budget bill last week, and now it's in the Senate, and they're working on their amendments. And then next month, we move into conference, so any bills surviving the House and the Senate will then head to conference committees. And the last day of the ledge is planned for May 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Matayoshi. Hello.
Aloha, my name is Shana Kukila, legislative researcher for Rep. Matayoshi, and also WCC alum. AO. So community updates. The Department of Transportation turned down the emergency light fixtures in the Pali Tunnel on March 6th. However, some lights were not working. So the DOT is continuing to monitor the situation and work with HECO. So please continue to use lights as required to be safe. Regarding the people speeding on H3, of course, as you heard earlier, Rep. Matayoshi is in touch with HPD to address the situation more seriously. Surviving bills that have come to through the Senate, HB 806 and HB 1483 are both fireworks bills, and the Senate is reviewing them now. Those are Rep. Matayoshi's bills. Also, the Delta 8 THC ban, HB 1482, is also being considered by the Senate. Events. Island Springtacular, March 29th at Windward Mall. And Malama 96744, graffiti paint out and community cleanup on April 12th. But you must register by April 9th, and it's going to be at the Kaneohe District Park. This past Wednesday was Take Down Tobacco Day, where island and actually statewide students from the Department of Education came to the Capitol to rally against tobacco. Unfortunately, our tobacco bill has not made it through, so we're going to try again next year. So mahalo, and Rep. Matayoshi sends his regards.
Mahalo. Representative Lee.
Chair, good evening, board. Thank you, Chancellor, for this new facility to use. So some of the things that weren't already mentioned, it was Education Week, et cetera, at the Capitol. Related to coconut spotted nostril beetle, the House bill to get funds to fight that is still alive. I think there was a presentation about the Manjano anemone that's in Kaneohe Bay. That's one of my bills. That one just passed. We've got one more to go through Ways and Means. So please, by all means, feel free to jump in on that one. That one is HB 1220. That would appropriate about $200,000 or $250,000 to go ahead and fight that. A little bit more related, since it was school week, one thing that I co-sponsored was a bill that is still live in the Senate after crossover, requiring financial literacy to become a part of curriculum to DOE in the future. Wanted to give a shout out to Senator Kehoe Palole. One of his bills that we just saw that we passed on would reduce the GET tax by 50% on all medication. There have been some transportation laws I saw. I think there was a question about one of the electric bike bills. So I did some research. That bill is dead. It didn't make its way through. There are a lot of electric bike bills this year. One of the bills that's still alive right now would require all bicycles, regardless of whether it's an e-bike or not, to be ridden with all wheels on the ground at all times, so that people cannot be sitting or standing on their bicycle seats, and that they cannot be operating certain high-speed electric devices in certain locations. We're also trying to this bill also classifies different electric bicycles based on speed and the age at which different people can use the different bikes based on speed. As council members, representative spoke a little bit about the landfill bill, SB 446. So that one's a little bit multi-tiered. It's not just reducing that buffer zone between half a mile and a quarter mile, which would effectively open up one landfill site over in Waimanalo and 5 in Kailua, neighboring very closely to Kaneohe. But it also talks about putting a landfill above an aquifer. So it's kind of packaged together. One thing that Representative Martin from Waimanalo and Kailua and I have been working on that we're putting into the bill this round is to change one of the lines, and we're working with Board of Water Supply to potentially give the state and the city and county 1 or 2 more options in other areas of the island. As you know, I think we reported in the past, Kailua has had 5 landfills in the last 60 years, and for about 30 years housed pretty much the biggest one on Oahu. So we definitely feel we've done our part. And yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about April 12th and Art Night at the Capitol and the e-waste recycling for the Matayoshi and Kitagawa that I work with. But Kaneohe Public Library is also doing free basic computer classes if anybody would like to sign up for those. And the Kailua, Waimanalo, and Monowili Town Hall for Mayor Blangiardi will be coming up on Thursday, May 8th at 6:30 p.m. in the Castle High School cafeteria. Thank you.
Just off the top of mind, you said the Kaneohe Library is, what's going on there?
They're doing some free basic computer classes.
So it's open?
Yeah, so there's a website I can share with you afterward. They're going to have classes on April 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd.
Huh?
Well, I've got Kaneohe Library. It's something we found online, so I can double check that.
Please.
Yep.
Any questions for the representatives? Sure. Any others? Okay, Donald, you're gonna have to wait.
Real
Hey,
quick,
Tony.
Rep. Lee, I was just curious about the language that you mentioned for the update, the suggested amendment for the landfill change that you guys are working on. I was just wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on that, or if it's too soon for that.
It might be here too soon, but what I'll do is I'll share that information with the board. It's called the UIC line, and what we're really looking at was there's different water lines, of course, that the Board of Water Supply is looking at, but it's also based on the Department of Health and what they recognize as a healthy site or not for humans. But I'll definitely share that with you in the future.
Mr. Sakamoto.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Representative, for the e-bike update. I've been following these bills because as a blind individual, it's hard to hear these bikes. So I hope we can put some bills through to make some kind of sound for them. But regarding the pop wheelies and whatnot, there was an incident in San Diego where they had regular motorcycles doing pop wheelies and they confiscated 30 motorcycles. Maybe we should do that with the e-bikes if they're doing that, so they don't do it anymore, but maybe next year.
I appreciate that. And I know we're in correspondence by email, Mr. Sakamoto. So let's work on that as soon as session's over.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the representatives?
Just one.
Dale.
Yes, thank you very much for your presentations this evening. I have a question. Do you have any update on House Resolution 22, expansion of neighborhood security watch programs?
No, I can look that up right after this. I'm sorry, it's HR 22?
Yes, I reached out to Representative Garner and I have not heard anything back.
Garner?
Garner.
Shimizu.
Garner Shimizu, yes.
Okay. Let me look that up. Maybe I can get it after this.
This is for any representative. 15 years ago, you're the one who's live that's here, so you're closest to the microphone. 15 years ago, Act 51, I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was called Reinventing Public Schools, Public Education. It was a program designed to give a lot more money back to the schools, for the schools to use It was not met with much fanfare because apparently principals didn't have the financial wherewithal to manage that kind of money, which might be understandable, but with a little bit of added training. Oh, could you just take a look at Act 51 again from 2010? Yeah. And Auntie Rocky, did you have a question? You want to bring something up? Come.
On a positive note, I apologize again for being so negative, but I wanted to share this with you. I don't know, I think Christy forgot. In February, I was invited to go to the Mokapu to watch the raising of the Hawaiian flag. It's the first time in the history of Mokapu that the Hawaiian flag was risen. You know that, right? I got invited to go there with another person whose father's name is on one of the streets there, Kekahuna. And he was really instrumental, very detrimental, I guess, for the Vietnam War. He was one of the guys that did the reports. But she was so happy to be there. And we were 3 Hawaiians standing there. And I'm not a morning person, but I hear the bugle from my house every morning to watch the Hawaiian flag go up. And I found it an honor, not only because I'm a Hawaiian, but because, you know, it's about time that our state flag goes up on Okapu also. Mahalo.
Yes, on a positive note. It's a question for the representatives. Next is community organizations, Windward Community College. That's right. That's right. Round of applause.
I'll take it. It's been a long day. I want to first, Belina Maikaku, welcome you all and all the participants to our college. Thank you for choosing to come here with this meeting. It's a blessing to us, and I hope in the future to use it to increase civic engagement with our students, having them attend as well. So this was a really momentous day. I have been asked on behalf of the Civic Club while I'm up here to announce that our scholarship is open and it closes on April 15th. It's related to education, so I thought it would be okay to add it to my report. So please get your applications out. It's on our website as well as our Facebook page. I wanted to follow up on what Christy Kaluhiba mentioned about our college program that she referred to. It was for, It was for our, It was for our middle college. And I'm very excited because our middle college received its 3rd teacher through the ALP ALPS Alternative Learning Program through the DOE. Middle college is a partnership between Kailua High School and Windward Community College and Purple Maia Foundation. So it is high school, college, and community working together to grow our future leaders. It targets primarily from Waimanalo Inter and Kailua Intermediate. We bring a cohort of 13 students beginning in the 9th grade who show promise. And there are 2 days on our campus, 2 days at Kailua High School, and 1 day in the community working on internships and projects in a variety, both Aloha Aina agencies as well as businesses and other areas. We're starting our 3rd cohort this year, which means our first cohort is now juniors. So we're very excited. They will graduate with a certificate in Hawaiian Knowledge Innovation, which combines Hawaiian studies, business, and computer skills like websites and social media. So that's a really exciting program. We're the first and the only middle college in the state of Hawaii. And when they're on this campus, their classrooms are in the administrative building, which is where I'm situated as well, Alakai, which is what you would run into if you forgot to turn left or right at the top of the T. And then finally, I'd like to share that our college won a national award this semester for institutional transformation from the American Council on Education. So we're really proud of that. It spoke to the hard, diligent, challenging, and innovative work that my faculty, staff, students, and the community have grown at this college, which grew our enrollment the number of classes taken, and our outreach into the community over these past 5 years. So mahalo nui loa i au ko.
Artis, would you be adverse to being moved from community organization business up to the front of the under city, state, and monthly reports? That's good? Perfect. What did you want to say? On behalf, are you going to be his representative? Okay, go ahead. Got a minute.
Name is Cheryl Tyler. I just wanted to mention that we took Senator Jarrett Ke'okolole up on an invitation last past Monday for a tour of the state capitol for about 20 residents. And it was the most wonderful experience. We were greeted by, first of all, we were bused from this parking lot to the state capitol. We were able to sit in on committee hearings with the community on 4 bills going through at this time. And we were there for the opening sessions of both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Free lunch and snacks and a bus ride back. It was just a really remarkable opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Moving on to board business and the approval of the February 2025 regular meeting minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. My apologies.
This is where I belong anyway. Community announcements. Marie Samudio.
Oh, no, announcements are, no, board. No, it's not your time. It's the last thing. Okay, you're up there. Go ahead.
Whatever. You are, if you haven't gotten it already, you are going to get an email inviting you to the annual Wynwood Emergency Preparedness Fair that's held at Wynwood Mall. The Kaneohe Board did a wonderful presentation last year. I think it's the best since this program started, which was under the Kaneohe Neighborhood Board. And it's kind of branched out over the past decade. We had 2 of your members that represented the board last year at the head of the escalator, so they got good coverage. And your chair came, and we hope that you're going to join us again. And we're hoping really to get all of the Ko'olau Neighborhood Board people there. It's important that your community knows who you are and what it is that you do. So even if you can't attend or won't attend, please do provide us with some kind of information that we could distribute to the community about you and who you are and when you meet, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so mahalo. And like I said, you'll get an email.
Mahalo. Moving on to the board business, the approval of the February 2025 regular meeting minutes. You all had a chance to see those?
Yeah, that was my version, right?
Is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended by Mr. Sakamoto?
I move.
Moved and seconded, without objection? Passed. Moving on to board committee reports and assignments. Elena Bryant is our representative on the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council. Her term is up and it's time to redo it. She is interested in continuing to serve. Is there a motion to have her continue to serve on the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council? That was a lovely motion. Moves to, she should continue. Has that been seconded? And it's been seconded without objection. Excellent. Are there any other attended meeting reports that anybody needs to bring up?
Chair,
Yes.
I was at the monthly Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization we improved the transportation improvement plan. One of them was about rockfall on the H3, so that's been added to about $1 million, right? $5 million. So that was the one of the items that was added to the plan for this coming years.
Chair, can I elaborate one more thing for our Vice Chair Lam? On that committee, I nominated him to be the Vice Chair of Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization. We voted him as the Vice Chair again, another 2 years. So, yeah. So I
Congratulations.
thank you, Adrian.
That's like end of meeting excitement. Okay, any other board reports? I would like to thank a couple of folks. Abe, I'd like to thank you, Abe Toba, for really taking on the community engagement, getting our social media back up to speed, getting the blog squared away. Yes, resounding applause for that. Thank you. Because when we do something at a meeting and it happens in real time, he can get it onto the website and people in the community can see it. So I think it's awesome that what you're doing. Also, I'd like to thank Kim Tomey for keeping track of the legislative issues that are happening and keeping abreast of what the Senate and the House are doing and things related to Kāne. So shout out to Kim.
Welcome.
And next meeting is going to be here at Hali'a'o in this room on April 17th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for the folks online virtually. And this meeting is adjourned.
Mahalo. Good night.